I started to, like everyone does, get hits, but the hits weren't sufficient enough to sort of change the formatted system. Yeah. And then I kept feeling something was off, like when there would be a guy speaking to a big crowd and he came from Zen and he would say, this is a funny situation. I'm like a man selling water standing by the river. Yes. And then he said, it's even funnier than that. I'm a man standing in the river selling water. And I would get that. I would finally get it and see that the importance of the message is not to get the message, is to see that what you're not can't get the message. Yeah. To finally question the sense of you that it seems to be able to weather every freaking storm, every peak experience, every epiphany, every huge awakening event is claimed quickly and is presented as the one who had that event. And it doesn't seem like any event can stop it from claiming the event. Yeah. And I felt that was more important than hearing all I am is consciousness or this or that. It was more important to hear about what I'm not. And then there was an identification as that. And then when a statement like you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha came through, it was super, super clear. It was like an avalanche. And it put me in a pause, basically, because I realized the failure of trying to use what you're not to find what you are. Yeah. And that's the most important part of the message, is the warnings that go with it. Yeah. Because if this was quite easy, if there wasn't an act of being identified as something else, then hearing about it would have been sufficient enough to cause a sense of it. Yeah. Once you heard, it didn't matter if for 80 years you thought you were something else, and finally you hear that you're the Buddha, you would think it would erase those 80 years like that, and you would just be the Buddha. It would be that simple. All you needed was to hear that you were the Buddha, but that hasn't worked, because we've heard that. We've heard all we are is consciousness. We heard there is no body, but we hear it as a body. Yeah. It gets translated and formatted to fit the system, the mental system. And so people talk, yes, I don't see you as a body, but I'm seeing from a body. So, yes, it's just insane to me. So Ramana captured it beautifully, I felt. And he says it in a lot of the different teachings from different people that had listened to him. They always present it in a couple of different words, but it's the same meaning. And it's always emphasized as the problem, the greatest mystery. And that is, there's this presupposing of a non-existent thing being what? Us, really. And then as that wanting to get salvation for itself, which is salvation from a non-existent thing. And it says, if this is the case, and obviously them pointing it out quite a lot means they were very clear that it usually is the case, that if this is the case, your spiritual practices themselves are reinforcing the non-existent thing. How can they destroy it? That's fundamental. That's a fundamental point. That's a point before anything took a direction. It's clear right there and then. So as soon as I started getting a feeling of that, my attention and interest, not mine, the attention and interest started to go in the sort of negative way, the negative way. And a person asked me the other day, what's the difference between denial and negation? Well, when the mental state denies something, it's because it takes it to be super real. A negation is the reality of anything. Yeah. It's not a denial of something to so and try to make it unso. It's seeing something ain't so. Yeah. There's no seeing it as it is and then trying to wish that it ain't. It's seeing it as it's not, by the direction given to us and offered to us through satsang. So if you realize there's a mental activity, and that mental activity takes very, very little time to kick in, and what it does is it changes the beginning point. It changes the starting line, and it starts after a process called selfing. And therefore, that which comes after, which is this idea of Paul, is presupposed to be before everything. And now it's that Paul who thinks it's having ideas. Yeah. And it just keeps on building on this thing. And then, of course, there's a discomfort and irritability or restlessness will probably arise. And in the ignorance, we try to become free from that as that. Yes. And recovery captures it beautifully. It calls it self can't get out of self. It's the fundamental flaw, and I mean FLAW. It's the fundamental flaw of seeking, because we may be seeking, or the seeking has been attributed as an act a seeker is doing. Yeah. And in that act of implying a seeker, it's going to neuter whatever the seeking could produce, because another agenda is using the seeking in a way that you don't know it's being used, and that is to reinforce the seeker. So all the while we're looking, it's reinforcing that there's a looker. So how is that looking going to free you from the looker when it's there to reinforce the looker? It's like a come to Jesus moment before Jesus and before coming. You're just here and you recognize something, and the house of cards collapses and then it keeps reappearing, but you've seen something. You've seen the emptiness of the house of cards, and it doesn't need to be remembered because it can't be forgotten. You've seen it. So in your innermost, whatever you want to call it, we call it in recovery the innermost, something that's not based in the mental state and is not derived by constant obsession over or remembrance of it. It just is. That can override all the yapping and all the megaphone warnings and forecasts. That silence can be the loudest sound you hear. It is. So once it was put straight and I stopped looking for what I am as what I'm not, and I started looking at the manufacturing of what I'm not from what I am. It was just that simple. And that direction has never changed. Yeah. It doesn't change if there's a moment where you're trying to help someone, or there's a moment that so like Ramana said, he would talk about surrender quite a lot. And then on an absolute level, he said, well, who's there to surrender and to whom? Yeah. But yet he spoke to a lot of people about surrender, as in it was a skillful means at that point for that person. But the absolute is, who is there to surrender and to whom, basically. So is there any surrender? No, exactly not. Yet in the movement of that day, in that moment, he was offering surrender. As what? As a possibility of relief, because what is relief going to do? It's going to get more relief. Yeah. Not the relief that comes from a lot of tension and stress, but a relief before all of that. There is a relief before the need for relief. Yeah. This is the thing with this message. Of course, I went so far trying to get out of self in so many vehicles, drug addiction, spirituality. And then I came, man. So there was a huge need and a huge desire and a huge drive to seek liberation. But the real liberation is from the need to be liberated. That's the real liberation. You're freed from all those imaginary needs. Yeah. All these requirements for you to be somewhere or somehow are just off. The whole ball game's called off. Yeah. Yeah. And you are what you're looking for. The seeker there isn't two. There's not the seeker and the sought. It is the seeker is the sought. So from that point, after hearing satsang, and I was in a position to be of help in recovery, and then we put out a website, and people from outside recovery got in touch with us. And then I started speaking, and I saw all the glories of spiritual addiction. Yeah, just like I saw all the glories of drug and alcoholism in recovery meetings, I saw spiritual addiction thriving in spiritual settings. Yeah, I saw people who'd been there for 7 days, heard 60 teachers and shit like that, and I'd be sharing about it. And then the person who'd been there for 7 days goes, "Can you give me an example?" And I said, "Voila, right? What you're doing right now. It's just like here. People are always worried about the end times while they're in the end times. Yes? I used to live in a town called in Australia. They were so concerned in their daily, the little community newspaper about oncoming development. It had already happened. Yeah. It's already happened in a sense. What you are super afraid of is you're living from at the moment. Yeah. How can we be so blind? Because the seeing is different. The seeing is sort of panoramic. How it's directed when it comes to us is a form of looking called self-centeredness. And that looking is blind. When you're using that act of looking, you're blind to the seeing. Because that's what's seeing. What is called the one who's looking, that's what's seeing. Yeah. If you keep calling it something else, you're going to look for it as something else. So, like, yeah, you hit a certain point with this message that lipstick on a pig. There it is. It's like cod, COD fish. There it is. Grill it, saute it, eat it raw. Don't even do anything with it. Use it for cat food. I don't care, but it's cod. Yeah. So you just keep presenting it. And the freedom isn't a heroic journey. You're not the star of it. It's giving up that you're the star is the freedom from the bondage of being the star. That's the real freedom. The freedom of having all the interest and attention that could be spent on this day just being absorbed in what's not happening. Yeah. Yeah. So, you hit a point where you just never get gypped. You're here all the time. You're here sleeping, you're here awake, you're here all the time. You've never gone anywhere. This whole insane idea of trying to get into the moment is predicated on a crazy idea that you could be out of a moment. I don't believe that's true. And the same thing, we're trying to get out of something that we're not actually in. Yeah, that's why all the escapes never work. That's why the great wisdom of no escape is there's no place to escape from. Yeah. How are you going to have a successful escape if you're not in prison, so to speak? Yeah. But of course, we assume something to be true, and then everything is predicated on that assumption, and it's not true. Yeah. So we get down to the back, go to the basic. Yeah. It's quite simple, quite simple. Yeah. Just look at the daily experience of seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching, and you tell me which one is essential. Is the seer more essential than the seeing? Is the hearer more essential than the hearing? Is the feeler more essential than the feeling? Or is it the other way around? Is there feeling without a feeler? Yes. Is there hearing without a hearer? Yes. Is there tasting without a taster? Yes. Is there a taster without tasting? No. Is there a hearer without hearing? No. Yes. And then look at how the horse in your life is in front of the cart or behind the cart. Is the imaginary noun before the verbs that are actually happening, or are the verbs actually happening and there's a narrative about a noun? Yeah. They're both there seemingly, but the emphasis is completely different. When the noun is before all verbs, yes, the life gets fucking pretty claustrophobic, and you get a very myopic view. If the verb is before the noun, the emphasis stays on the living of the life, not the interpretation of the life. The interpretive hold on you weakens, not because it's weakening, or the interest that's been in it is now being removed. Yeah, not by you, because that would be more interest in you. Yeah, it's just a shift of interest from something to somewhere else, and you can tell the difference when it's occurring. Yeah. So now the verb, and it's the verb alone, and then there's an interpretive narrative about a noun, instead of the noun blocking out all of the verbing. Yeah. Yeah. So it's the same here in Hawaii, you know, Staten Island, Long Island, Novato. I'm not saying Nevada, I'm saying Novato, a little town in California. Yeah, there's the message. We're going to keep pounding away at it, because if you don't see it, you're looking from the problem in a way. If you don't see it, you're going to be looking for it. And the looking for it is the blindness to it, really. The more you look, the more blind you are. You may be clear about everything else in life, but if you're not clear about this, that clarity isn't really serving you. Yes. Yes. To be clear about this allows you not to be clear or to be clear. It's, you know, there's no way you have to be. You're just surrounded by what's happening. Yeah. You have an acceptance of what goes on. So sometimes there's feelings great, or comes and goes. You feel shitty doesn't mean anything more than you're feeling great. It doesn't say because you're the feeling, you're only going to feel great. No. See, this is the dream of the feeler. The feeler is like, man, it's trying to feel great all the time, doesn't it? It's always shooting for it. That's fucking magical thinking. The real freedom is the acceptance of what's going on. Yeah. To be able to do what you want to do and not what you want to do. Yeah. To be free, to have yourself fitting around circumstances instead of trying to fit them around you, as we say in recovery. So it's really a directional thing. It's the horse in front of the cart. It's not how you shoot or where you go or what you add or what you subtract. It's just this little shift. Instead of trying to look for what you are by listening to what you're not, you see, yeah, the imaginary one that's made up by the claiming of listening to what you're not. Yeah. And you see that from what you are. That's it. And it will build on itself because it's righteous, tell you the truth. Yeah. It's correct. Yeah. The horse is in front of the cart. Yeah. Put it to a test if you like. Yeah. All right. Anyone? Mike? Anybody? Oh, I got to pick the things.
Yeah,
Any hands?
Anybody want to raise their hand?
I can't see anyone. All right, we'll say goodbye. Oh, there's a hand here. Marie? Yeah, Marie, the lady who's new. Yes. I don't know how to get it. Can you hear me, everyone? Yeah, here? I don't think they can hear me. That whole thing.
We can hear you.
We can hear you.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, Jacob, sorry. He can hear you.
All right, well, I think Maria wanted to ask something. No, Maria, I think. Oh, is it? No, Angie. Is that? I don't know. I can't tell. I can't see a hand. It looks like a foot. No, I thought this one, but that's not. No. All right, well.
Yeah, I think it'll show up here. Just give him a minute. Give him a minute to stew. Click on something here. Jerry. Question? We have to click on something. So wait, we have a hand. Oh, now we got two hands.
All right.
PK and then Angie.
Oh, this is a 1-2 punch. All right, PK. Let's go.
Hey, Paul.
Hey.
So I can hear you good. Just wanted to see so far, you know, how how Hawaii is treating you.
Well,
you got the pickup went well, and the commune, are you locked in on the commune?
I don't want to go into details with the participants nearby.
Oh.
You're never coming back?
It'll be a future story when I get away from you.
It's
What
been
happened?
going great.
All right.
No, it's very nice. Carrie's been driving us around all day. Judith has been putting up windows and cooking incredible ahi and some curry potatoes. Yes,
That's great, man. It's great to see you guys all there, together. It feels like we're kind of, vibing in the Mahalo spirit too, kind of, indirectly, so it's great, man. From one island to another. Forget about
yes,
it.
yes, yeah. Don't
That's
drink
all. I
the
just wanted to
coconut. Don't drink the coconut water in Long Island, though.
That's right.
That's right. Good to
All
see
right,
you,
thanks, my
PK. Yeah,
man.
everything's well. It's I'm gonna go to different people's hometowns that have been coming to the Zoom for the last few years. I'm gonna do
Yeah,
some
man,
Zoom
I'm waiting
travels.
for the Raffle Center. We'll walk on the Long Island
Long Island
Expressway.
City will be the last stop, and I mean the last stop of the Zoom
We can swim in the East River.
into the Zoom trip. Yes. All right, PK.
All right.
Thank you. And we have Angie right next to PK.
Yes, so thank you so much for taking your time in beautiful Hawaii and taking time to talk
Yes.
to us.
I deserve a lot
today.
of credit. I understand.
Yes. And this question is from the ego, and it has to do, obviously.
Show me where it is. Show me the questioner.
Yes, so
Show me the questioner. Where is it?
so obviously, there's a frustration when we think we have answers for other people who are struggling, people we love in our lives, but it's not easy or even impossible to get the message through. And I felt in one of your talks maybe a little bit of frustration on your side as well for, people not being able to hear the message or to, I don't know. So can you talk a little bit about that? Is there something that, any
No,
way in which
no,
we can somehow create a better circumstance for them so they can hear the message?
that may not be the point, honey. That may not be the point. Maybe the situation they're in is going to bring them to the best point of being able to hear the message. Who knows? I have no idea. I have a faith in the statement from the Course in Miracles, which is you and I are dreaming in ourselves out of this dreaming. And as we do the dream, we'll get happier. Yes? I'm a believer in that. So I believe everything has value. And who says that everyone's supposed to get this message? You are that. You don't see getting it is can be a real bother, to tell you the truth. Yeah, because what happens if you believe you got it, you can believe you can lose it. Yeah. And if you believe that you got it because of certain things you did, then if you do other certain things, you can lose it. Yeah. You see, it's like dancing with the devil. You're going to lose either way. So this takes the whole thing out of it. And the job of what gets frustrated is the action figure. I probably had, something, if you understand, something was too tight in my undergarments, and so I was feeling uncomfortable. And so it may have been seen as frustration with others. But all you do is put out the message. If that's your seed assignment, yeah. If it wasn't, you'd be putting up a wall or something. You just. I believe if you hear satsang, it's gonna bring you to a point of ending a lot of stuff. Not you ending it, but you're gonna witness or be there when a lot of stuff ends. and there'll be a being convinced. Being convinced, even though you're not maybe feeling it all second of every day, but being convinced of the statement, the seeker is the sought. You can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha. What can be perceived can't be perceiving. Yes? Yeah, being
Yes.
ourselves reality. These things, being ourselves reality does not induce a lot of mileage and a lot of effort and thought when I hear that. It's a fact, being ourselves reality. And then all this other stuff comes after that. And a lot of the stuff that comes after that is predicated on reality, seemingly forgetting that it's reality. Yeah. So
Yeah.
what
But
needs to be pointed out is what you're not. Just even the word self is too much. Yeah. So how we usually term it, because we speak from recovery a lot and they use the word self, but if I had my choice, it would be selfing. It's an activity, and the activity implies the act of being identified as self, but self is not a noun in that sentence. It's nothing. It's the act of being identified as self is an activity. Yeah. And so that activity is happening in a larger field. And I would say we are that larger field. Or let's say the activity could be put as content and we can be seen as context. Yeah. So basically, when these things, it's almost like the book is closed. Yeah. Okay. You hear, hey, there's a presupposing of a non-existent thing, Paul, let's say, and then Paul wanting to get salvation for that non-existent thing. Now there's been a mistake because there is no non-existent thing. Yeah, non-existent would mean there's no thing existing. Yeah, so this whole idea of Paul is negated. Yeah, by the statement. So the presupposing of a non-existent thing being Paul, really, that's what's being supposed. Yeah. And then Paul wanting to get salvation and running around doing tons of shit to feel better and everything like that. Yes. If that's the case, Paul's spiritual practices, because that's what they'll be Paul's spiritual practices that Paul believes is going to extinguish that fire, is going to put gasoline on the fire. That's the invitation of non-duality. It's almost as if you've been moving forever and finally something gives you the opportunity to stop. Hopefully the statement has enough juice in your reaction to it, like an avalanche, and it stops you. And you get to see all the looking, because looking has time in it. You see it and you realize, hey, I'm guilty, and you're not ultimately, but there's I'm guilty. You know, the Buddha, yeah, has been used to seek the Buddha. Okay, why? Just look at it. Can you imagine there was a meeting hundreds of years ago, seemingly, by a guy named Huang Po, somewhere in China. Has a lot of people interested in this topic of recognition, awakening, whatever. And he's looking at them all, and he looks at them and he makes this statement. He doesn't say, all right, Paul, Jim, Steve, Mary, because he's not seeing Paul, Jim, Steve, and Mary. He's seeing them as the Buddha. And he's talking through Steve, trying to get over Steve, under Steve, around Mary, to speak to the Buddha, which he can't miss because it's everywhere at all times. So basically, all he has to do is miss you. And this is the drive and the anxiety of everyone wanting to get it. That's the point. You're not getting it. That's what it's working at that point. The not getting it is the message is working. It's showing you can't get it. It's not personal, that you can't get it. So what more information do you need? I've been coming to these for 10 years. I never get it. Hallelujah. That's the freaking message, because you are it. You see, it's just the way we read it. It gets put in another light when it's actually revealing everything to you. Yeah. He didn't talk to Steve. He talked to the Buddha. And why would he say to Steve, you can't use the Buddha to seek the Buddha? It would be fucking great to use the Buddha to seek the Buddha if you were Steve, but you're not. You're the Buddha. Therefore, the whole effect is completely different because you're the Buddha. The whole effect of, oh, when I feel like I want to find something, I look for it. That makes sense. You can't do it with this. Yeah, because you are it. What? Yeah. You're not the pants you look for or the coffee you look for. Even the drugs I did, I never thought I was cocaine. Never. Yeah. So basically, you are what you're looking for. Yeah. What is it? What's looking? It doesn't say who's looking. That's an afterthought. That's the presupposing of a non-existent thing and then getting it leapfrogged before everything. Yeah. Yes. So this
So-
is, yeah.
So I guess the issue of compassion then is just to look at everyone as being the Buddha basically, and you know, being
Well,
okay the way they are, or
Well, no, I don't know how it's going to be, but these things don't move. Your behavior or your reactions to or from them may move, but these ideas don't move. When they land, they're fucking solid. Yes. And so basically, you realize there's no rote answer to anything because every dance is new. So basically, you walk in with whatever situation, and maybe you tell someone to do one thing, and the next person you tell them to do exactly the opposite. Yeah, and it may not make any mental sense, but that's what was delivered at the time. Yeah, yes, this is the way
Yeah.
to go. There's no rote answer. There isn't, because there's mind, big M mind, before everything. And if mind is dreaming, it can use whatever it's dreaming to go wherever it wants. Yeah. It can. Some people go to fucking a mental hell by reading scriptures. They do. Millions of people get killed based on an interpretation of a scripture. Some other person reads one line of that scripture and fucking the whole thing drops. Was it the line? No, it's us. That which is before us. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't like have it's not like a quarterback with all the plays on his wrist. I don't look at, okay, all right, run down. No, you just show up naked and see what happens. Yeah. Yes. Yes. And we're not in the outcome business, as we say in recovery. Not in the outcome business. I know if I have an interest in someone getting sober, it's probably going to be a deterrent for them getting sober most of the time, because some weird shit will come around. I see it. Very rarely do I see a parent get their child sober. Very rarely. Yeah, the kids are going to hear it from someone else, somewhere else. Yes. So, yeah. So we're not. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you've entered non-duality as a career, you made a bad choice. You know, really, my success is when no one shows up, really. Really. Seriously, I'm shooting for the lowest possible numbers. I'm shooting for the smallest amount of hits. I don't want someone to listen to me, or not me. Yeah, I definitely don't want anyone to listen to me, but to listen to the talks like 24 hours in a row or something. I don't think that's healthy. Fucking take a break and watch Bloodline or something. It'll be better for you, because this addiction obviously is appearing. I mean, I've had people call me up and they spent over $1 million in seeking, and I could hear their kids and their husband talking from another room, and she was on the video, and she'd been watching 16 hours of video. She never sleeps, and there's her kids and the husband just, come and be our wife and mom. No, this is freaking insane. That's what I would like to see people free from. Yeah, I don't like the term spirituality. I just don't like it. It's like what they did with the word Zen. They put Zen gardening, Zen, hand soap, Zen pillows, Zen tons. They just slap the name on it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I feel we're not of a body and a thing. we don't come about by thought. Yeah. We're not a product of a mental state. And the best way to describe what we are is not to. Yeah. And just spend time describing what you're not, because everyone can see that. No one's going to see what you are, none, ever. But you can see what you're not. You can see the activity that's leading to a conclusion that gets presupposed before everything else. It's a mental conclusion that when it finally appears after the process of selfing, it leapfrogs to be before everything. And then someone will call me and say, I've been selfing all day. No, there has not been a one selfing all day. There's just been selfing about a one. Yeah, it never changes direction. There's not a point when the selfing that's implying the one turns into one selfing. Never, never. It's always the selfing is implying the noun. The noun never starts doing the verb. It's always the verb, yeah, and then leading to a noun. It never varies, it never shifts, yeah? This is what I mean. When you see the horse in front of the cart, that may be the only way you see it from that point on. The head may tell you tons of things. The cart's getting ahead of the horse. Well, watch out, it was before the horse, and I know it's gonna be, you know, but in fact, every time you look, the horse is in front of the cart. No, every time you see, every time you look, you're looking to hopefully see the cart in front of the horse, but every time you see, it's the horse in front of the cart. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's fun here, you know, to come here, because in time, a lot of things that aren't so appear to be so through repetition. Well, why not repeat a message that talks about what is so and doesn't need to appear to be so? Yeah. Why not use repetition in that direction? Yeah. So that's what we do at satsang, I feel. We come here, we share the space, we speak with certainty, we point in a certain way, and you can guarantee that it's probably going to be that way, because there's nothing new in non-duality. There's not a quantum leap in non-duality. It's a fact. Before all the shenanigans in the imagination and in the world of what's not happening, this is a fact. Yeah, a fact, being ourselves reality. Yeah. Now, if you try to act like you're a reality as what you're not, it doesn't go anywhere, but it does go somewhere because it shows you value. Yeah, it fails you over and over again. And in that failing, it's valuable. Yeah, you see it in its glory, because the non-duality gives you a way that you're going to see so many assumptions and understandings in a new light. And you're going to see them as misunderstandings and as repetitive assumptions with no weight. You are. And you'll see the collapse of the house of Paul. Yeah. And yet the house of Paul will appear over and over until, you know, death, I guess. But the fact is, the fact is just find out. You'll feel something or sense something that overrides all the time and distance and shit. Yeah, it does. It just, you know, you keep coming back until you realize you never left, basically. Yeah, and hopefully that's what satsang does. It keeps bringing you back to where you never left. Yeah. Yes. So thank you for the question, and thank you very much, and all the support.
Thank you.
Yeah.
David, Hedderman, down under.
And we got Jack G wants to ask something too.
And we-
All right. David from down under. David W. Oh, David. Hey, Dave.
G'day, Paul. G'day, everybody. It's not really a question, but I was sort of thinking of Paul Hedderman's Zoom like this is to me like a game of American baseball. It's like you're the pitcher trying to get it past in baseball, what they call the guy with the bat, the batsman, like you're trying to get it past, and you're trying to slide him into the keeper, mate. You just keep trying to fucking put them in there, slip them in there, slip them by, you know. It's a fucking beauty. I actually, I don't know, I've been doing this for about 3 months, I suppose, coming. I can't really remember.
Yes.
And I have got fuck all of what you've ever said, but it's 99% of it has finally gone through. If you get what I mean.
Yes.
That's what it seems like to me. I don't get it, and I don't care that I don't get it. It just seems to make sense now.
Yes.
You know?
Thank
Anyway,
you.
no question there, just a loudmouth Aussie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good on you, mate. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, bro. That's a pretty succinct way of putting it, yes. Yeah, usually I'm a recipient of a lot of delayed gratitude.
I
It
can
takes a
imagine,
few years.
I can imagine you'll get thank you letters long after you did gone, mate.
That's right. I used to hate you, motherfucker, but I see it now. All right, thank you.
Every one of my friends I've told them about you, they all hate your guts, mate. But they all do. I'm sorry. In a good way.
Yeah, it's all. It's yes.
They're a little bit too scared, those people, to entertain a different thought, I suppose.
Yes. Well, they're being entertained by thought. They're not entertaining thoughts. Yeah. The idea of the one entertaining thoughts is thoughts entertaining a one, so to speak. Yeah. We're asked backwards, really. I mean, how are you going to see? If you're driving ahead looking in the rearview mirror, a lot of shit can go on. Yeah. In that condition. Yes. You may be thinking you're arriving somewhere where you seem to be going farther away from. Who knows? Yeah. And then if you call anyone else, they're in the same predicament. They're driving, looking in the rearview mirror. We're all getting close to the goal. No, you're not. You're going backwards, so to speak. You're not, but you know.
It's good fun driving like that for a real short period of time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the exhilaration of getting away with something. Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
All
thanks,
right.
Paul.
Thanks, Dave. Yeah.
Thanks, David, and I apologize for the ones I just admitted because Miss Amelia made me Paul Hedderman, and I didn't realize that didn't make me host anymore. So.
He got much better looking quickly. Yes, amazing transformation. It's always Amelia's fault. Well, Jack Chi has a question. Jack Chi has a hand up.
But Marie had her hand.
Oh, Marie has a hand up. All right, Marie first, and then Jack Chi. Marie.
Hey, it's Mari.
Oh,
Hi,
Mari.
Paul.
How are you?
I'm good. I forgot what I was going to say now. I liked your phrasing about the selfing thing. I could
Yes.
really kind of see that, and you're saying it's a verb, not a noun. That makes sense. I wasn't quite clear on your analogy of the metaphor that you have of the horse and the cart. I didn't know what's supposed to be the horse and what's supposed to be the cart in that.
Well, the horse is before the cart. It's something we've used in a while. It's attempting to say this is mostly directional. It's not really content or volume. It's how it's pointed. Yeah. So most of us think we're taken to be the cart and we believe we're in front of the horse when actually the horse is in front of the cart. Yeah. It's just that we've been using it for years. So keep coming back. He'll hit you sooner or later. Yeah.
I had one other quick one. So would you say that a starting point to this might be
Now.
yeah. I was going to say this idea that we are constantly inventing this idea of God. And so the starting point would actually be atheism.
No, it's noism, really. It's is, but without an M. It is, but not ism. Yeah, my feeling. Yeah, I don't care about ideas of anything, really. Yeah.
Well,
If
I
you
think I
just
meant,
investigate your own sense, is there
yeah.
anything before what's seen? Is there anything before awareness? The only thing that you could believe is before awareness would be conceptual. It would be a conceptual idea. But basically, in this experience, there is something that's not of some or thing. It's an awareness and onness. Yeah. So every sound is being heard, but that which is hearing the sound cannot be heard. Yes. I would say that's, some would call it spirit, awareness, consciousness, but there is, and it's not appearing as a thing, and it's not doing awareness. Yeah, it doesn't have a lapse of being unaware and then aware. It's awareness, it's a field, it's a space. Yes. And if you take any sensation and take it as far back you can go, it always goes to that same place, that place that cannot be known, but knows everything else. Yeah. I don't see anywhere else. Everything else is just like, conjecture about what the earth looked like 800 million years ago. And I go to a 4-hour seminar. Who the fuck knows? No one does. Yeah. But so, yes. So just look at the basic seeing, hearing, feeling, tasting, touching. Is a lot of that associated with thought and effort, or no? It isn't, because it's being that which can see, hear, feel, taste, touch, smell. It's not the apparatus that smells, it's not the ear, but it's that awareness or an onness. Yeah. I don't think there's anything before that, to tell you the truth. And I find you can find that out right where you're sitting. Yeah, just now. I've gone there a lot, and there's nowhere else to go so far. Yeah, maybe I'm going to be a big surprise, but for years now, there's just an unknowable, inscrutable, always present onness that is not going to bend to an investigation or turn itself into an experience or be able or allow someone to see it. You'd have to be something other than it to do that, and you're not. That's the premise of the message. That premise became the message in my experience. Yeah. So I don't know if that answered anything, but it's a nice riff. Just feeling it. I did it. I have some people may call it titiness or something. I've heard sound since I was young. They're never broken. It's always on. And I've sat many a night at 4 a.m, just hearing everything. And everything I hear is before that, is after that hearing, that vibration going off. There's something that's hearing it, but it's not a thing. Yeah. And I can't hear that thing that's hearing that. And to me, it's the closest, the most constant sensation that I've ever met in this life. It's on constantly. Yeah. In a loud room, in a quiet place, it's always on. And there is something that's constantly aware of that. Yeah. That never has more constancy than that is aware of it. Yeah. It's just obvious. So yeah, there's a point you just put the ball down and then grace is there, as they say. Yeah. So yeah. I just don't see it. If you sit and have someone and every time they say something and you say, well, there is no body, what's hearing that is a body. There's an identification. The hearer is pictured as a body. So while you're hearing you're not a body, which could be great news, you're hearing it as a body, which reinforces the body. Yeah. I don't see how you're going to get before that process in time. I just don't. You know, while you're going to sit down on the meditation cushion, it already has you as the meditator. It's already claimed the action you just starting to imply that you're the meditator. I mean, yeah, so, all right.
You ready for?
Yeah, I think I lost whoever that was.
Yeah, that's Marie, she's still there.
All right, Mari. Yes, all right, Jack G, a blast from the past.
Hey,
Jack?
Paul, good to fucking see you, buddy. How are ya?
Good, very good.
Tell them to turn the picture on.
Listen, I stayed away for a little while just because I wanted to come back and asked if there was anything new in non-duality. But you kind of already answered it.
Yes, yeah. How you been, Jack G?
I've been really good, my man.
Great.
Really good.
Great.
And it's great to see you there in Hawaii. Have you been to the Big Island before?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you've
Yeah.
seen the volcano?
I haven't seen it today, so it means it's like I've never seen it, no.
Okay.
We're gonna go up there tonight, I think.
All right, good.
Yeah.
I
We're gonna
told-
one of us is gonna be thrown into the volcano.
Well, that should probably be Kerry, just so.
No,
you-
we all decided it should be Jack G, but you're not around.
Yeah, but I'm
so-
not there.
Yeah. Well, we may do it in effigy.
All right.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Take a video, please.
Yeah, we're gonna have you talking as we throw you in. This sharks don't swim in schools. That's gonna be your last statement. Sharks don't swim in schools.
Uh,
This fire's hot.
Yeah, this accent, it can be a curse, but sometimes it plays into my favor. So
Yes, of course, yes.
Yeah. you know.
Yeah. Those days may be over though, bro, I think.
Too much. But it's really great to see everybody there, and I'm really happy for you guys. And I know you're gonna have a great time. But yeah, I saw one of the podcasts the other day, and you were telling a story about a pool, a neighbor's pool.
Yes.
Yes, and
I haven't heard back from anyone yet, so that's good.
well, this is the thing that I really broke that down and analyzed it after I heard you tell the story, and it really made me think a lot about, I've said things in my life that I didn't really know where they came from.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have probably felt that way. They say something, I'm like, why did I say that? Or where did that come from? Anyway, I just thought it was a perfect example of Stanley.
Yes.
And I think that Stanley isn't always malevolent, but benevolent as well. And perhaps that information got passed to those people because it was supposed to.
Yes, you never know. Yeah. I heard some digging the other day. I don't know. I think they were digging for the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so I've really learned not to regret a lot of stuff because of that. Because
Yeah, thank you.
ultimately, everything happens the way it's supposed to, is kind of my take on things. But
the
so
real lightness, Jack, is really that you're not the one that regrets or doesn't regret. That's like a blanket lightness. It's not predicated even in the smallest way about less regret or more regret. It's just, there's no one who has the regret. That to me is the fundamental relief. Yeah, I really find, yes. Yeah, because all the meaning about regret or not regretting or regretting too much or whatever, it's always funneled into through the owner, Jack or Paul. Yeah. So if you take Paul out of the equation, the whole thing reads differently. Yeah, it really does. Seriously, it really does. And you get totally different messages, you get totally different downloads. Yeah. But yeah, so remember, that's the trap door. You don't want to drop the regret through the trap door. The idea of being the regretter. Yeah, boom. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
It applies to everything. Everything that shows up and is stated with such emphasis, you just take the wind out of it. The wind, like attention, just goes somewhere else because it doesn't really mean that fucking much. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Listen, this summer, if you want to make a trip to Cape Cod, I'm very close to the ocean here, and Mike and Greg are gonna come by at some point when they're out here. So, I'll talk.
Do you have?
to
Yeah. Do you have ceilings and 4 walls?
you. Yeah, I do.
Oh.
My
Is the
new-
house not moving?
Any roosters?
Not yet. Not yet.
All right, Jack. Hey, I would love to. I like Cape Cod. I like it a lot. Yeah.
We'll talk about it more. Probably I'll talk to Mike more
Yes,
about it.
please. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, it's cold there now, Jack.
Yeah, it's cold here now, but not in the summer.
I know, I'm
Beautiful.
just being funny.
All right. Anyone else?
Thanks.
Last call for hands. Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Paul.
Oh, there's Stacy L from
Yeah,
Los
she's one of the ones
Angeles.
that had to wait. So I told her I was starting again.
Nice to see you, Stacy.
Hi, Paul.
All's well, family, everything?
Yeah. I'm getting ready to see you in Italy.
Oh, great. Yes. It's perfect advertisement segue.
Yay.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Yes, you'll get to see me too.
Oh, great. Yeah, we're looking, hopefully, yes, hopefully we get enough people signed up and it'll come to pass. Beautiful place. So, yeah. Nice, Stacy. Nice to see you very much.
Bye, Stacy.
Anyone have a question?
Last call for hands. And let me put up the box.
All right, well, let's say goodbye then. Eh? Hey, Jack G, thank you for dropping in, bro. Yeah. And Mari, I think I have it. Nice to see you, Mari. David from Down Under, fantastic. Angie, thank you for your thoughtful questions very much. I appreciate your participation. PK, as always. Anu, there she is. We got Nick R. Nice to see you, Nick. Gina, oh, nice to see that little smiling face, Gina. Yes, pleasure to see you. We got Victoria, yeah, Vlad, I think is in Russia. Yes, there he is. Yeah, we got Johannes. He's been with us since the beginning. Thank you. Thank you for you showing up, bro. Tommy from Ireland, Tyler E, I think is doing a lot of service for us. Thank you. We need all the help we can get. Yeah. Linda S. Yeah, there she is. The one and only. We got
Wait, who's the Globetrotter now? You're the Globetrotter.
all right. Oh, there she is.
Linda, where are you? How are
I'm
you?
in Minneapolis.
Yeah, good to see you. I just wanted to say hi real quick.
Yeah.
I'll talk
Carrie's
later.
been driving us around today. Yeah.
Carrie's a good tour guide.
Yes, yes. Yes, Kagan, nice to see you. Yes. Sanda, thank you for all the support, honey. She's in the homeland, India. Jacob and Alex and Indigo too. Nice, nice group. Thanks for having us. Hey, I hope all's well, Jacob, and call me anytime. Yeah, you too, everyone. Alex, nice to see you. Indigo.
Thanks, Paul.
See you. Yeah. Thank you for everything. We got Alan O. Thank you, Alan, for the continued support. Tej, always like seeing Tej live, but Zoom will do. Nice to see you, Tej. We got Susanna W., a dear friend, Mike C., Sue K., JP from Vietnam. We got Zlatko. Zlatko,
Hey, Paul.
I hope you're doing well, Z. You okay?
I am. Thanks.
Thanks for dropping in tonight, and I'll give you a call. I'm
Okay,
2 hours behind you, so I'll call you tomorrow.
All right, thanks.
Everyone here says hello, Z.
Hi, Z.
Yeah, there he is.
Thanks a lot.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, we're all here. We're all
Appreciate it.
with you in spirit, my friend.
Okay.
Yes. All right, we got some phone numbers. I don't know who they are. Oh, Nick.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick, nice to see you, Nick. Nick's one of the locals. Hey, thank you, everyone. I don't know how to move to the next page, so.
That's it, 'cause it's only, not that many.
All right. Yeah, that's it.
That's
Oh,
it.
here comes others. All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody.
See you, everyone. We'll be here tomorrow for the recovery. Everything goes as it usually does. So, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow and any, whatever. See you guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
You're lucky there's people around, really.
You have to look tomorrow.
8:30, yes.
8:30, yeah.
So what? 8, so what is it? Yeah, 8:30 isn't bad.
We'll go to bed early. We'll kind of around.
You get up at 8:30 at home. It'll be 10:30 when you wake up.
That's really 12.
Yeah, break into your.
Oh, Paul, you know what?
Yeah.
You've given me so much. It's amazing. This is so very generous. Just you coming over here. It's just such a huge act of generosity in your part. It's just so beautiful. The message, your message is just, it's tremendous. It's tremendous how you unlock people, how you free them up. It's just so beautiful. And I can only say I apologize for not being to reciprocate in the way that I really wanted.
Oh, let's not go there,
Love
honey.
you so
This is
much.
great. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
You
Apologize
do
for
more
apologizing.
than enough.
So-
What?
Apologize for apologizing.
You're treating us fantastically. It's great. Yes, just being here is it's great, and I like to meet Carrie's fantastic.
Yeah.
Always to see Mike is great,
I
and
know it's such. It just is so surreal. It's just so generous. It's just so. I just hope that one day I'll be able to outgive you. It's just,
I'm
already
doing
it.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Look at how I live you.
Yeah,
well, honey,
yeah.
it's not a more or less of giving anyway.
No, it's not. But Paul, he
Yeah.
gives so much.
Yeah. I'll speak to Amelia about that. I have my days. I have my days.
Look at you too.
I have my
Look at you
days.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some days I'm better than others.
Yeah.
It's
No,
to
I
see
know.
the Simon,
But I
honey,
need to know how to roll
seriously.
with him.
Just by being able to give,
I
just
know
by
how
the
to-
presence, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. Yeah. It's truly unbelievable. Yeah.
It's a nice activity to gather people too. We're gonna have a lot of very tasty little reunions. Maybe here, like we did at our house for 3 days. Italy,
It's been so super. So
Italy is
yeah.
one, but Hawaii could be
Italy
another one.
and stuff. Yeah, it's just gonna do things.
That's the whole point.
Well,
because
logic.
I
There's a
just,
lot.
yeah, it's just these are just such auspicious times in the way things are going in
Yes.
Hawaii and worldwide.
Just so you guys know, you're still on.
It seems like to
Right.
be okay.
Oh yeah.
So it's just
I
sort of.
did. I was so
Yeah.
addicted to. I was one of those people that listened to you 16 hours a day or more.
Yeah.
Because I was
16 hours a day?
Yeah.
She
Hey,
doesn't
Judith.
listen to me for 60 minutes a day.
No, for real.
Literally.
Because you know what? I had panic attacks.
Oh,
I
yes.
had.
But
I
it
felt
helped
like
you.
I was. oh.
I'm not saying it's bad or
right,
good, but it
no,
helped
I
you
know
in your
it helped
situation.
me.
That's
I
right.
couldn't cope with my feelings. I couldn't cope with my brain.
Yes.
I knew that there was something in there that was cracking.
Hey, Judith,
Something that was
I love
giving
you.
away, and I was
Judith,
anxious to have it, anxious to get it, anxious to
I'm
it
sorry.
was making me so miserable. And I
I
couldn't
love you, Judith.
concentrate. I couldn't be
I'm
present.
sorry.
You couldn't.
Please forgive me.
I just wanted the floor. I just wanted to lie down on the
Thank
floor.
you.
It wasn't depression. It was absolute sheer anxiety. It was
Mike,
a
I
burden.
love you, Mike.
It
Please
was
forgive
just
me.
thousands in hell. I swear. It was in hell. Long ago?
I'm
Good night,
sorry.
everyone.
It was before I started listening to Paul.
They don't hear us, Jack.
And so,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
yes.
PK, it
And
looks
so
like you live in a fucking
a
shoebox,
year
man.
and a half ago.
I
Oh,
like
you
it
should
just
see the rest.
well, just the angle of the camera. It just looks like you're in a fucking shoebox.
Soon.
Well, you know, this place, it's like
2 years ago in April.
like a tornado hit it.
I was there.
Yeah.
It's like boxes and shit everywhere, but it's okay.
It was the only thing.
Yeah, it's all good, man.
Well, yeah, like say
Yeah, I'm
a
going through
panic
some
attack,
changes, but you
sometimes
know
it
what?
needs extreme measures.
I,
So you
whoever
have
it
to
is that's
use
going
things
through the changes and
more
what's
or
being
more
changed
because of
is like what's alleging
the amplitude
and what's being
of the
alleged,
energy.
right?
Right. And it's all good,
You know,
bro.
so
Listening to you.
yeah, I
It's
think
all
it's
good.
good. You know, I think that reference point is just like a
That's
floating
fantastic.
point, so it's
You
kind
know
of
how
nice.
most people used to get, know what most people used to give me credit for? Helping with their insomnia.
Well, I know Paul put his camera down,
It was
Yeah,
great.
but I guess he didn't end the session.
Yeah. I'm gonna text Mike and just tell him, but I think everyone's pretty
That's
much
what I
gone
mean.
anyway.
So you would, the
Well,
least
no, it's
thing you
nice. We're
expect,
like there, like hiding,
Right.
like I'm like the
things
fly on the
person
wall.
says, well, I can sleep when I'm listening.
Right.
I didn't think that
I
was the
kind of
point
like
of the
that.
talk.
It's like being there, right?
You can
Except no one's
finally,
Yeah,
listening
well, I'm
to you.
sure.
you're
I'm
not
sure
gonna
they-
get it.
You know, it's not
Well,
gonna
the
be
thing is,
very private stuff. So, how many people are left?
nah, I mean, nothing's really, I think with this group,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
there's nothing really private. I mean,
Yeah,
everything
it's
is pretty
already
much
there. It's like on having never left.
what it is,
You don't
right?
get it. You get that on having never left.
Right.
That's what you get.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so
I love you, Judith.
You've had it all along.
yeah, that's real.
I'm sorry.
But
You know what that
That's-
is, Jack?
What's that?
That's the
Let's
the
say you get hit
Hawaiian
with you have it all along. And then
hoponono,
what gets revealed is
which
a
is I
lot
love
of
you, I'm sorry,
misunderstandings
please
and a
forgive
lot
me,
of
thank you.
concepts and shit like
Oh,
that.
okay.
You
Yeah, that's
see
cool.
that you were like a
Which is
Christmas
I kind of
tree with
rearranged
all
it
the
to I'm
ornaments
sorry,
and
I
shit
love
and
you,
all the
please forgive me.
shit on it. Yeah, you had
Nice.
no idea.
I don't know what you need to
was
be
going
forgiven
on.
for, but
the funny thing is like
Well,
I'm
and that's the
sure-
thing is, well, but I think that, you know what the most
it's
important thing
preemptive?
is?
I didn't want to leave.
Well, even
Is it-
forgiving ourselves, even if there is no
And
self,
plus he puts you on
just
the
to
front
employ
line
or to be in the
Or the other
field
end
or
of it, yeah.
in the front line.
in,
So,
there is
that's-
forgiveness.
so
We can be
definitely
part
that
of
would
it,
be
you
your
know?
quality.
Yeah,
And
sometimes
no
I ask
follow
for
quality.
forgiveness preemptively because I know I'm gonna
definitely-
fuck up.
Yeah,
Right.
in other
Right. So,
rooms,
but they
because
say, you know,
I'm
the most important
so
person to
much
forgive
process
and to love and to accept and stick with
That's
is
well, that's
ourselves,
great.
right?
That's the point, honey.
Sure.
Like
That's
we can't
And that's
divorce
why-
ourselves.
that's the best
I
use
can't
I
leave
can be
me.
put to.
Yeah.
So it's great.
Yeah.
Really.
So
I
that's
mean,
how
Or I mean, you could, right?
it's been a very healing
Metaphorically.
thing as an action figure.
But
Yeah.
you need that
Because honestly,
transactional, I think,
in my
being.
life, I took a
Well,
lot,
that's what I've
You
always
know?
liked
and
about
I had a lot
Buddhism
of
is
sense
the
of entitlement.
whole
And I
idea of
was
no self.
Emotionally, very, very
Right. And Paul is
immature,
great because he's the
sort of crippled,
personification
really.
where
And,
he still has,
I didn't
there is
know
a
how
some
to,
self left,
yeah.
but it's a very low trace
Yeah.
amount, you
Yeah,
know?
Amelia was Amelia
Which I
really
think
was
is
one of the
that is
crowning
traveling
things,
lighter.
really, because
you
a
know?
lot got undone in
I
me.
can see it. No, really.
A lot got undone, and then I figured.
Anyway, bro, I'm gonna
Last
go.
girlfriend I
Good
was,
seeing
I
you,
was just
PK.
gonna ride off into
All
the
right, Jack G,
sunset
good
by
to, you know, I
myself,
always
and
throw your
then life
allegedly in
brought
there.
me Amelia.
That's good. I love
I
it,
just-
man.
Amelia brought me.
Well,
I
that's
love
just
this
such a
idea of
great,
us,
you know, it's a great
that
line.
The two
It's like
individuals
Paul seemingly.
will be a greater sum. than
allegedly
the
doesn't
individuals. So the
necessarily
Right.
And just tons
say
of
that
stuff.
it's
I mean,
100%. It's
was profound,
allegedly
like,
or
tons of
seemingly,
stuff
it
fell
appears
through and
to
a
be,
lot of
right? But we don't
That's
know
misunderstandings.
for
right.
sure.
A lot of crazy ideas
You
that
can
And that's
say
a good thing that we don't know
teaching
for
in
sure,
my
right?
That's right. You can
unconscious
say
got
anything
brought
you
up
want as
and
long
got
as you're,
undone. So,
as long
yeah.
as you
And
say
you know what?
allegedly,
And
you
for
can say
women
anything.
like me, it's like
Preemptively, that's
I
going to be my
heard
new
you
thing.
say things about Amelia.
Preemptive is good.
Preemptively.
That's a
Oh,
good one.
that was just so,
All
Preemptive
right,
and
Jack G.
so sweet.
preemptive and
When you brought up the
unilateral.
numbers, oh, they
Ooh, the
they hurt me
unilaterally,
more,
that sounds
more,
good
yeah,
too.
because you have somebody really special.
Wait,
All right,
Judith, I
bro.
love
That
you.
way about it. It was just
Yes,
beautiful.
yes,
It
yeah.
made you
Judith, I miss you.
feel
Please forgive me.
to me.
I'm sorry.
Really endearing.
You think they have the volume down?
Yeah. Because, tender. Yeah, tender,
Ugh.
tender. Because
Oh, let's not
you,
get too
you brought
touchy.
up, no, true, because you brought up Amelia. It was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
really
Well,
beautiful.
Amelia's been a big, yeah. I mean, I've gotten a lot of, you know how you have ideas pretty much like, you know, you figure, all right, enough's enough, but more good comes, more possibilities show up to be touched and touch others. It's just great. We're really, like, we used to have this exercise in recovery when you got into the program. The sponsor who you were working with, the man or the woman, would have you write down what would you wish to happen in your first year of sobriety. And then when you got a year, they would read it and you see how small you were playing it and how much life gave you. Huge, like super abundantly more. And then you realize this thing of this feeling of withholding permission or some fucking weird thing that you're not able just to give and receive. You have to earn something. Or it's just so fucking insane.
That,
really.
there goes
Yeah.
again. You're the Christmas tree with all the ornaments and the gifts underneath. You're it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and why would you give yourself something that is so is something that is so sweet? That can be really sweet and really wonderful in your life.
Yeah. I know.
Why won't you? Oh,
I know. Well, that's the point.
yeah.
You don't even, after you pass that, it's not even worth the time to put out why didn't you?
Right.
You've been released
Right.
and open to new possibilities, which
Right.
I felt a lot of fucking honor and gratitude for. I really have.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been, it's just like when you were laying in the hospital bed and, you were surviving.
Right.
Yeah. And you were
People are
like sort
taking
of,
care of you.
it sort of sucked in a lot of ways, but you were like, fuck, this is, I was very appreciative of the life continuing.
Right.
And, yeah. And one of the biggest things was really as a signpost was me being sober for 2 years when my mother passed away. That was a huge hurdle because I felt the mental state really. I had the role that it had me playing.
Right.
I was convicted already. I was just living out sentences. You ever hear when someone does something really bad, they get like 7 life sentences in a row.
Right.
I mean, it's basically you're never fucking getting out of anything. Yeah. Well, it was sort of like that. I felt like the head had me convicted, and there was no way out. Yeah. And to have all those charges dropped was just mind-boggling. It's incredible. When I realized that which was convicting me, I'm not. Oh, Jesus, yeah.
This is a beautiful picture. Hold
Yeah.
on. This is such a beautiful picture. Where is Carrie? Where is Carrie?
This character here too.
That's such a beautiful picture.
Get a picture of this, honey.
I know. Look at
In the door. Why do you keep doing that?
He's not going.
Oh.